sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to BTC-TV, Channel 13. This is Scribbler, a portal to fiction, and I'm your host, Ben Wustenberg, on this wonderful, wonderful day. My goodness, it is so hot out there. Oof. Oh, well, that's okay. It's normal, I guess. So I've decided on my title for my story. I'm going to call it "Where the Night Hides Its Shadows." Don't ask me what it means. It means nothing. I mean, it's like, I just like the sound of it, that's all. Maybe I can work into it. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it later. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to be reading it to you. It's a short. Let me see. It's, well, not short. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 1,800 words. So that's not that bad. Anyways, as you will recall, our so-called hero, our main character, our guy, our protagonist, Emilio Garcia Santos, I don't know, I can't remember. Oh, it's probably up here somewhere, isn't it? I don't know. What is his name? I don't know. Emilio, though, that's it. Emilio, yeah, I didn't write it down. Oh, well, my bad. Well, whatever. So, I'm going to start reading right about now, I would say. I'm going to just give this a 2-minute blurb. And, oh, did you see my Poet's Corner? I did. I started reading poetry, too. Unbelievable. So, here we go. Where the Night Hides Its Shadow. The waves woke him up with a start. Emilio felt the sand beneath his back and shot up like a drowning man gasping for air, looking about in confusion. He was on a beach. The rollers were breaking across the sand with a concentrated effort. He could see the waves breaking and told himself it was possibly a reef or rocky outcrop. He turned himself around and looked about. He could see the lifeboat lying upside down and partially on its side. The way it rested on the sand made him think it was a sea creature trying to catch its breath, its bulk rising and falling with the waves as though it lay at rest. He stumbled to his feet, his muscles aching and his back burnt raw by the sun. He could feel the chafing grit of sand between his thighs as he made his way to the lifeboat, hoping to drag it out of the water and onto the beach. He bent down low and pulled on the bow, wrapping the rope around his body and pulling with all his strength, unable to move the craft. He sank in the sand, falling on his knees, defeated. There were gulls overhead screeching as he tried instead to lift the craft, hoping to flip it over. He had it partially up, but was unable to push it all the way over. It took 3 attempts. When it finally fell over, it rocked back and forth, and he tried to move it again. The lifeboat slid on its wide hull in a small rill of water, and he was able to get it far enough out of the tide water that it wouldn't float away. The first thing he did was open the small storage box under one of the 3 seats. There were 6 cans of fresh water inside, and he opened 2 of them, drinking thirstily, greedily, telling himself not to drink all of it until he found a source of fresh water. The narrow stream of water running down the beach had come from somewhere. He looked at the jungle and saw how it crept towards the waiting ocean. He bent down and continued sorting through the small locker. There were tablets in a little sack of paper, and he touched one to his tongue. Salt pills. He found some hardtack and started to chew on it, breathing deeply as he tried to swallow, washing it down with a mouthful of water. There were some high-calorie bars that had no flavor, he was quick to discover. He found matches in a small metal tube and cursed himself again for not having worn his pants to bed. He could use some pockets, he told himself. He found a small mirror, a can opener, a knife, and a whistle. He could probably use everything in the locker and thought if he took it with him, it might better serve his needs. There was sun cream, and he dug his fingers into the jar and lathered his shoulders as much of his back and arms that he could reach. He found a compass, a notebook and pencil, and told himself the first thing he had to do was climb the highest peak and see the outline of the island. He thought it would be in his best interest if he tried to make a map of the island. He could see at least a dozen islands dotting the horizon, and told himself once he regained his strength, he'd set course for the next island, and if there was no one there, try for the next. He knew he wouldn't be able to survive on his own, and bent down to sort through the storage box again. He found a flare gun with 6 flares under a bolt of cloth that was tied tight and might serve as a sail if he found a piece of wood long and wide enough to use as a mast. There was a length of fishing line as well as a small collection of hooks. He dumped everything back into the storage box and tried to pull the lifeboat off the beach, thinking if he could move it off the beach, he might be able to hide it in the underbrush the jungle had to offer. He was able to push it and follow the length of the small stream. It was easier than trying to drag it, he realized. He looked back at the tracks and the gouge the boat had made in the pristine sands of the beach, and using the small knife he'd found, cut a small branch off a bush and swept the beach. He covered the boat as best he could and then set out with the flare gun and 3 of the flares, as well as the notebook and pencil, hoping to explore the island. He tried to stay out of the sun as much as he could, deciding to follow the small stream into the jungle. He doubted if there was anything within the depths of the jungle that would attack him. He didn't like the idea of walking through the jungle without his boots, though, and tried to walk on the sand or the jungle grass as much as he could. He might have a first aid kit in the locker, but he knew there was little in it that would save him from infection. That was the moment he found the road. It was a lane, really, built narrow and straight, graded and covered with shells, sand, and broken coral. He followed it, hiding in the trees, wondering who could have made it. It wound its way around the base of the one hill on the island, and when he came across a clearing, he paused and waited. He crossed the lane as quick as he could, feeling the shells dig into his feet. He made his way up the hill, found the stream again, and paused to drink before pushing his way up the hill again. That was when he saw the landing strip below him and to his right. It bisected the island from left to right. At the easternmost point there were 3 buildings. 2 of them looked to be barracks, the third one official-looking, as if it was for administration purposes. There was a fuel depot to the south, as well as a hangar with a storeroom to the left, where he could see spare parts, wing sections and wheels, as well as a lookout tower hidden in the jungle and looking out at the ocean. He could see a single building off to the right, hidden from the barracks. The road wound its way around the building from the south. The door opened, and he saw a woman step outside carrying an armful of laundry she hung up on a line tied between 2 trees. She was thin and wearing a sulu. Her hair was light, cut short, and when the wind blew her sulu open, she ignored it. No need for modesty if you knew you were alone, he told himself. He noticed that the clothes she was hanging up looked to be pants and shirts. Uniforms, he told himself. Japanese uniforms, he was sure. His first thought was where he would sleep. He needed shelter enough so he wouldn't be spotted. He also needed food. He made his way back to the lifeboat and flipped it onto its side, leaning it against a tree. He cut down as many palm fronds as he could, as well as brushes, placing them around the boat so that it was invisible to anyone walking along the beach. It would afford him cover as well as shelter from the elements. He sat under the cover of the boat and sorted through his meager supplies, doing a final inventory of what he had. There was a bucket he assumed was meant for bailing water that he could use to collect water. He pulled everything out of the storage locker and poured water from one of the cans into it, hoping it was sealed. He would use it to store his water rations. He tied the 3 fishing hooks he had to the line, weighted it with a rock, and set out for the beach. He found a length of wood, tied one end of the line to it, and hung the wood between 2 rocks. He dropped the line into the water and waited. He'd read a story once when he was a young man. It was after he'd left the orphanage, about a man lost on an island. He didn't remember what the name of the book was, or if the man finally escaped the island. He never finished reading the book, he remembered. He crept out of his hiding place, looking to his left and then his right, peering over the small pond of water the hooks were in. The water was clear, and he could see there were no fish. A plane flew overhead just then, and he scurried back into his hiding place as the plane dropped down to the runway. He waited, and then crawled out to look into the pool once again. "Catch anything?" a voice asked him. Emilio looked up at the man standing on a rocky outcrop about 10 feet above him. He had a gun in his hand and a smile on his face. He was Japanese, an officer. He shook his head, and the man nodded. "You speak Japanese," the man said softly, "but you're not Japanese." "I speak several languages," Emilio replied. "Do you?" "Like what?" he asked. "Dutch, a bit of English and French, just enough to get by, and Bislama, as well as others." "Where did you learn to speak Japanese?" "I was a shipper." "A shipper? And what does a shipper do?" the man asked. "I did manifests for lading on the docks in Java as well as Port Moresby." "Where's that?" "Papua New Guinea." "Are you English?" "You don't look English. Not that I know what an Englishman looks like, but I've seen pictures and they don't look like you." "Are you native?" "A little bit of everything. Spanish, native, Filipino, probably Dutch somewhere in there." "How did you get here?" "I was on a hospital ship. It was sunk. I found something to float on and ended up here. A hospital ship." "So what now?" Emilio asked the man as he holstered his gun. "Now? I take you in as my prisoner. It just so happens I have need of a man of your talents." "What talents?" "Languages." "I take it you can read and write." "Of course. Why?" "I need someone to help me write my memoirs." Well, there you go. There's a surprising twist. Yeah, it fooled me too. It's like, what is this? Well, whatever, right? There you go. So that is the part 2. And, well, we'll see how that goes. I have to introduce my female lead, and that will be next. Her name is Rebecca. I don't know what her last name is yet because I haven't figured that out. But I like Rebecca. I like those kind of names, Rebecca, Vanessa, that kind of Victoria, that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, there you go. Words that have syllables. Emily, three syllables, that kind of stuff. Anyways, enough of that stuff. I'm going to be leaving you very soon because I have to get dinner ready. And so for tonight, dinner's going to be really, really easy. I'm going to, we have a burrata, and I just went and picked up a baguette, and we have some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put the cherry tomatoes in the frying pan with some oil and get them all soft and gooky, and then I'm going to pour them over top of the burrata, and I'm going to cut up the baguette. And and I bought myself some romaine lettuce, so I'm going to make a Caesar salad from scratch. Yes, just have to remember to put all the stuff in properly. Yeah, that should be good. It's 4 o'clock, so if I start now, I'll have it done real easy, real quick. I don't know what time she's off work. She started early. Who knows? Who knows? She never knows when she's off either, so there you are. So, I'm going to call it a day. How about Friday? And I'm going to hopefully get this done by tonight. And then I can release it for tomorrow morning. For tomorrow, I have to go out for lunch with the boys. Yes, it's that time of the month again. And there you are. And that's at 1 o'clock. And yeah, that's the way it is. And I've also decided that I'm going to one of my reading things for Poets Corner. Every once in a while I'm going to throw in a Shakespearean sonnet, perhaps a soliloquy, to be or not to be. That is the question, whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them. Yeah, well, I don't have it all memorized. I used to. when I was in school. That was one of the things that I had to memorize, and can you believe that? I still have that from school. Wow. Just like a couple of stanzas from the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Day after day, we struck no breath nor motion, and idle as a painted ship upon the painted ocean. Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. There you go. 2 stanzas in a row. So, I'm going to say arrivederci ciao for now. I will see you next week. The same bat time and the same bat channel. Arrivederci.